Welcome aboard our Battleships podcast. This is a podcast analyzing anime relationships, whether they be canon or one the fans enjoy. Please be aware that our battleships are equipped with state-of-the-art weapons designed to leave no ships behind. If there is a ship that you hold dear to your heart, there's a possibility we don't. We are not aiming our cannons at you personally and mean no harm by sharing our opinions with you. We are simply anime fans talking about ships we either love or hate. This is not an informative podcast, so don't take anything we say as gospel. Keep in mind, our sails are painted in the blood of many spoils of war, displaying everything beginning to end. If you haven't seen the anime, we will reveal many of the exciting details to you, so you have been alerted. Again, this is your spoiler warning. Thank you for listening. I will now hand the wheel over to our captains.
Welcome to Battleships, Shipped or Sunk. We're anime fans discussing anime ships that we either love or hate and come to a final decision. Do we ship the pairing or do we sink it with our cannons? My name is Kaylee, and I'm the asexual that somehow came up with this romance podcast.
Hi, I'm Zephyra, and I'm the horny one of this group.
Yep, definitely. 110% here. It is truth.
Yep.
All right, my name is Juno, and my favorite magical creature of all time are dragons.
Yep.
You took mine.
No, they're mine.
They are mine.
Mine.
All right, who has more dragons at home?
Me.
I think we need to have a count off.
You'll be very upset to see how many I truly have.
I don't want to talk about the lack of dragons that I have, even though I like dragons.
I have lots of figurines of dragons. Ha!
We will come back to you next time with how many dragons we each have.
Oh, dear.
And see who wins.
We will be starting off our episode with our roll for ships. This is a list of romance questions that we carefully came up with, and we will be rolling a D100 to determine the question we answer before we talk about today's couple. Let's roll.
And hopefully we get a lower number this time.
No kidding. Here we go. 13.
Wow!
So the new dice did help. We didn't roll a 50-something this time.
Ooh, this one looks like fun.
Oh, okay. This will be an interesting one to talk about, considering we're talking about a very interesting couple today. What is an anime couple that has inspired your own ideal relationship?
You know what I'm gonna say, so I gotta come up with something else.
The blank stare into the horizon.
All of those couples that we wish we were a part
Don't
of.
make me cry. I'm lonely.
Oh.
And the horniest one here, and very, very single.
All of us here are single. Just to answer any questions that people might have. We're all single and sad, and that's why we do romance podcasting.
To fulfill the void. Well, I guess then Juno will take the first step here. So mine would be Narumi and Hirotaka from Wotakoi, Love is Hard for Otaku.
Okay.
Because they both have their nerdy interests, and while they sometimes tease each other about what they're into, they support each other. And they also spend time together enjoying the same thing, like video games, or at least in the same room doing their own hobbies, like Narumi writing her story and her boyfriend playing a game in the background. Like,
Yeah.
I just love that they're both otakus and they spend time together enjoying the same thing, like going to conventions together and all that kind of stuff. And I would love to have a relationship with that where we share the same nerdy things. Like we can swap manga and swap anime and all that kind of stuff. Yes, please introduce me to more of the nerdy things. Jealous. Okay.
Yeah. I think I haven't seen Watakoi. It is on our list to both cover and on my personal list to watch. But I definitely have to agree that that kind of a relationship would be so fun.
Yes,
So.
it's exactly what I need.
So what was the first one you thought of?
Me?
Kaylee? Yeah.
Me?
If it wasn't Heaven Officials, what was it?
Okay, fine. I'll go ahead and say mine then, because that's what I was going to say. My Happy Marriage. The one that we're watching right now.
Oh my gosh!
So here's
Yes,
the thing. Kyoko Kudo. He is so supportive of Mio. So much, especially with all of Mio's trauma that she's trying to work through. And he's so patient with her and wants to help her work through things. I've already mentioned this once or twice in this podcast. I have a lot of mental health issues and a lot of things that I'm trying to work through. I would really love someone who is supportive and someone I can also help too, because we haven't gotten far enough into it. But there is a time in the story where she's helping him as well. And I think that kind of balance is so helpful and so healthy. That's kind of what I would like in a relationship myself.
I absolutely adore Miho's and Kyoko's relationship. Like, just again, how patient he is with her, how supportive he is, and how kindly he treats her. And like, especially when you compare how he treats other people compared to Miho.
Oh, yeah.
I love him. He's so salty towards others. And then he looks at her and is like, oh, are you okay? Are you sleeping all right? And oh my gosh.
And how he
it's so cute.
provides for her too. Like the kimonos, the hair comb, the bags, the protective amulet, just
And
he is
he's
husband material.
Oh, yeah.
helping her get out of her shell. Like, she was constantly saying sorry, feeling like she's always in the wrong, and he's helping her, giving her confidence, and like, you are a lot more worth than what they say you are.
Oh, yeah.
But honestly,
But he doesn't say it, he shows it to her.
Mm-hmm.
that's what I love. He shows it and he expresses it in his words.
Yeah.
But honestly, Kaylee, that was actually one of my future answers to this question too. They are on my list because I'm just like, yes.
There's so many perfect couples that's like, okay, not all of them are perfect. Everyone has their issues, but like, oh my gosh.
So which one did you choose, Zephra?
I was gonna say Yuri on Ice, but I also thought of Spy Family.
Oh, okay.
The couple in their
Lloyd and
and
Yor.
they start out as just strangers needing each other to accomplish missions or survive. But they grow into a family, and yeah, they're still, the two of them are still lying or whatever, but like, they are making this family work. They are working together and supporting each other.
I think what's so beautiful about Yor and Lloyd is they're willing to work through problems that arise.
Yes.
So many people nowadays, they look at problems and they run away from them or avoid them until the last possible second, or they purposefully hide them from the other person instead of trying to face them together. I haven't seen enough of Spy Family to know if that is true throughout the entire story. But for a lot of things, they'll either try to work through them, but they won't like purposefully hide them from the other person. Or, you know, they immediately go with, okay, there's this problem. We need to work through it.
Was one instance when Yora's trying to learn to cook because she wants to be able to do that for her family. But since she's being secretive about it, Lloyd gets suspicious. But once he realizes what she's really doing, the relief he has that he was wrong, his suspicions were wrong.
Yeah.
But I also do love how they're both being the best parents they can be to Anya.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they really do their best. I mean, and then she's like at that moment, like, I want his dog, you know, and eventually they get her a dog. Like, dang, they go all out for this kid.
Well, it's not just any dog.
I know, right?
No, they are. I love them as parent figures so much, and I'm excited to see where they'll go in the future for sure. Now, our fellow shippers, it's time to talk about our couple, Ryugi and Taiga from Toradora. Let the slandering begin.
Looks wise.
Yeah, let's start with the simple stuff that we don't need emotions played into.
He looks like a psycho, but is good. She looks like a nice, sweet girl, but is a psycho.
Well, I mean, in the first episode, you get the impression, that Ryuji has that killer stare, and then people will give him their wallets because they're scared. So he has scary eyes and, dark hair, dark eyes. So definitely going with a cooler tone with the blacks.
Mm-hmm.
And then Taiga, with her doll-like appearance, they make that very clear, and she's tiny and cute.
Yep.
What's that trope? All short. Watch out for short people because they have a short temper.
Oh,
Yep.
no. Don't go there. No. Taiga is going to uppercut you.
So here's something about the two, and this is going a little bit into the personalities as well. Ryuji looks like he would hurt you. Taiga has the reputation of she will hurt you. So in a way, they're similar in that aspect. But obviously, there is a huge height difference because Taiga's that short little petite doll, while Ryuji is this tall, clean freak of a guy. So,
yes.
And they do have a little bit of that lighter color scheme of Taiga versus the dark color scheme of Ryuji.
Yeah, because, she has the, pretty brown wavy hair, that flows around her just perfectly.
Her eyes, bright round eyes.
And she wears a lot of lighter clothes throughout the show. Yeah, they're in their school uniforms for over 50% of it. But whenever they're out wandering around, she's typically wearing white or lighter colors, whereas he's wearing the darker colors.
Except for that one time she does wear black.
Oh, yeah. There are times where they change colors, but for the majority of the time.
Yeah.
True. And with their color schemes, Ryuji's is a very level-headed person overall. He's calm, and then Taiga is, in the browns and reds, that are colorful. And so anger, that bright, vivid red color, because she's very temperamental, as we have seen.
Another aspect to consider for their appearances is how much the author decided to match them with what they are, quote unquote, being represented as. With her orange hair, Taiga kind of matches a tiger, right? Versus Ryuji, who has the darker colors, typically black dragon, which is kind of what he
her
is.
nickname.
The Pom Pop Tiger?
No, you're a dog.
Oh, yeah, we'll get into that.
He's a dog. He's more like that good Labrador.
A lab.
Yeah,
Black lab.
I could see a lab because he's always doing all the little menial tasks like a lab would. So
he would be a lab, but yeah, he's a dragon.
Yeah, they're quite the pair.
Alrighty.
Their first meeting.
Running into each other at the hall and then immediately picking a fight.
Well, she picked the fight.
Yeah, she did. Ryuji was more examining her she's so tiny. Huh?
What
is just looking at her and having all these internal thoughts of, oh, palm top tiger. Oh, that does fit. Just talk. Why are you having all these weird internal thoughts while she's glaring at you and shaking her fist? It's coming.
Yeah, no, so my thing is, I'm just going to go ahead and say this flat ass. There are only 2 characters in this entire fucking show that I actually enjoy. And go figure, they're not even for the fact that I like them as a fan. It's more of the fact I like them as an author. So, guess who's not on that list?
Taiga?
Ryuji. I do not like Ryuji at all. So, literally standing there after having just, ran into her, and he's just staring at her Like, if I were Taiga, I'd probably flip my can too, because I don't like being stared at, especially when someone's towering over me, whether they have an option of towering over me or not. So in some aspects, I can understand why Taiga would punch him in that situation. Do I like it? No.
Wonder, did all that time actually pass, or was it one of those where they make it seem slower so that you can hear all of the thoughts running through their heads?
That's true.
Because that would make a huge difference, because if it's only for a couple seconds, that's one thing. But they portrayed it as he's just sitting there for many seconds staring where everyone else is murmuring around him like, oh, they're going to fight, they're going to fight, they're going to fight. And he's portrayed as the nice guy. So he runs into this girl and doesn't say anything, doesn't say sorry, he just stands there and looks at her.
Yeah.
Well, I had to think at least it was a couple seconds because, of the movements and him just looking at her, and also like all the commentary around the students going like, oh, they're gonna fight, like is the delinquent and the tiger gonna go at it in the hallway?
But is it like 5 seconds or 20?
Well, it was long enough to make Taiga at least uncomfortable when someone's like looking at you like that.
Yeah.
And then thinking, you're tiny.
Well, and again,
that's true.
Something they do not talk about enough in this show is the fact that Ryugi is supposed to have this resting bitch face. He's supposed to have this murderous, passive look in his eye or whatever, He's supposed to be scary. So, scary guy staring at little girl.
For her, it definitely looks like he's looking for a fight.
Yeah. So, it's one of those where their meeting was not destined to be good. And I think the author chose that on purpose.
Yeah.
Because it sets a very specific foot for the rest of the show.
Yeah, because then the second time they really have like an interaction is when he goes to retrieve his bag. When he walks into the classroom and the chairs are flying and she's in the cupboard and comes rolling out. Like how do you respond to that? And he's just like awkward, he's just like, I'm gonna get my bag and I'm gonna get out of here.
And then she freaks out because she put the letter in the wrong bag.
And then they end up like fighting over the bag in the classroom. This is their second interaction, so it's not good either.
Oh, and then their third interaction.
Oh my God.
Fighting in the house.
Yeah.
Her trying to steal back that letter.
But can we really think about that for a minute? That he's asleep in his own home and wakes up to noise, and she broke into his house and starts swinging at him with a wooden sword.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I honestly was watching this entire first episode and went, oh God, what's the rest of this show gonna be like? Because it was such a mess beginning to end.
Oh, yeah.
Because then she's like even screaming like she needs to like take him out because he knows her darkest secret, having a crush on his friend. And then she decides the best way to deal with that is attack her classmate with a wooden sword. Like, what, you're going to concuss him hard enough? He's going to lose memory of this?
Yep. That's her plan. Spur of the moment, irrational plan. But that's how they are almost 90% of the show.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm not giving him any credit.
And this is like, to me, it was weird too. Like the scene that spoke out to me when she's attacking him with one sword, like her nose is running. And like as a weird person, just turns and uses the shirt hanging next to her to wipe her nose before going after him again. I'm like, who does that?
A child.
Yeah, he calls her out on it, but it's like she ignores and keeps attacking him.
But then finally, when he yells out that the envelope was empty, does she finally pause on her attack? And then she collapses from hunger. And what does he do? He feeds her. Like, you are feeding your attacker? What the fuck?
Honestly, I'm going to start nitpicking Ryugi from now on until the rest of this episode. Ryugi had a very interesting role model for a parent who, acted like a child all the time. And
this is true.
His entire job was basically to ensure that she was okay and she was fine. So I think he probably saw a lot of his mom.
But kind of makes me feel bad for Ryugi kind of having to parent his mom. Like, because when we first see him, he's cleaning the house and cooking. Like, he has the role of a housewife going on for his mom and everything.
Yeah, no, I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing, but it does play into a lot of what I'm going to mention later in this episode.
I feel like the relationship between the two, older brother and younger sister.
Thank you. That was exactly my thought this entire freaking
Because
watch.
yes, they are taking care of her, but the relationship is too much for father and daughter, but most definitely how they are constantly fighting yet still looking out for each her. It takes her longer before she looks out for him, but how they look out for each other and all that is like the responsible older brother and the spoiled younger sister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how their relationship is and should always be like. That's how I see it.
Yep. Well, especially since they agree to help each other out with their crushes. I'm sorry. Is that not a more brotherly and sisterly thing to do?
Yes.
Oh, you have a crush on somebody? Let me drop a letter in their bag. Let me help you, find a perfect moment where you guys are super close and then you guys can talk to each other. That was this entire show.
I always gotta laugh at the times when they share the brain cell and do schemes with each other.
We'll talk about a lot of them.
Oh. But I don't like it wasn't like a spoken of agreement because like when they run into Ryuji's crush on the way to school after their big sword fight or whatever, like she makes it clear to him, like with giving him that look as they walk away, he's like, oh, I have to help her with her crush with my best friend for her to maybe be willing to help me with mine. Because, she finds out when, he drops that box in front of her and is like, I want to put on a music concert for the girl I like. And then she finds out it's her best friend. And then he's mortified because he's like, oh, no. She now knows who I like. When she was, very embarrassed that he now knew she had a crush on his best friend. So then it's just like, well, I guess suddenly unspoken agreement of, if you help me get my guy, I'll help you maybe get your girl.
Yeah.
I thought it was spoken, but it was more like
eye contact and looks like.
And then there's that whole thing of, you'd swear to me and be my dog, to do everything I say and be my dog.
Yeah, because like she won't leave after the attack and everything. And he's like, no, you need to leave. It's late. Like my mom will be home soon from work, And he's like, oh, she probably will not be happy to find a random girl in her house.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. And then she's like, oh, then you'll obey me like a dog. And here he is like... essentially forgiving you for attacking him multiple times at this point, and then feeding you, and then offering you love advice, like being willing to help you get with his friend, and then that's how you respond. You'll obey me like a dog, follow her every command. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And this guy, he's tired. He needs to go to bed. They got work, early school in the morning. And he just wants her to leave. So he's not thinking at all.
And then can we please talk about like the next morning where she apparently lives in the apartment right across from him. And then for some reason he goes over and takes her breakfast and then sees her dirty apartment and then cleans it.
Like he has a very weird and strong cleaning need. Like whenever it shows it that whenever he sees anything dirty, he has to clean it and be spotless. Like it's just he can't stand seeing dirty things.
OCD.
Yeah.
It makes me also think of like how he was raised by his mom. I kind of suspect by the way she behaves, like she's not very cleanly. And it drove him crazy. And so that's why part of the reason probably why he stepped up more to, help around the house and cook and do all these things because his mom wasn't doing it. And so then now like it's become like a learned behavior and also probably the OCD thing too, that then he goes into someone else's dirty apartment and then he cleans it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird, especially the first start to the next episode where then she's sitting at his table eating food. And this apparently has become a thing where she comes over, invites herself to come eat meals with Ryugi and his mom. Like, huh?
Well, the thing is, she's overstepping and
So
being
much
very
so.
rude, but he's just sees her as a child or like, oh, I gotta take care of her. But instead of like putting her in her place, correcting her, he's just letting her do what she wants.
Yeah, because even Ryugi does say, like, after their midnight encounter, she's been showing up every day. Like, what?
So here is my thought process on this. Because you know how I mentioned that there are only two characters that I really enjoy, and it's all from a writing standpoint?
Yes.
Taiga is one of those two. The reason being is I think that it is a very interesting portrayal of what happens when you are neglected as a kid. Because obviously, Taiga lived in that apartment alone because her dad is an absolute sleazebag and her mom is not much better from the tiny bit we see at the very end.
It sounds like from the mom's point of view, she spends time with the daughter, it's only for the looks, how she looks to her neighbors.
It's very manipulative, both of her parents. Honestly, with the way that she was raised, she never really had very good role models, obviously, because of the way she behaves towards everyone. But suddenly, this person who is starting to show some signs of a nurturing personality, Ryugi, she automatically clings to that because that is what she is neglecting. Or, you know, that's what she doesn't have.
She's neglected and is craving that.
I can see that. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, Ryugi should have done something about, like, the abusive behavior.
Oh, absolutely. Granted, it's not his responsibility. And
It's
that's what
not.
sucks.
It's not his responsibility, but he could have been like, no, you're being a bitch, fuck off. He does help her in that way, but it's more of lead by example, and it took way too fucking long for her to really get it. And
But I love the progress made throughout the show. Because, yes, at the very beginning, I really did not like Taiga. I thought she was annoying, and she was really getting on my nerves at the beginning. It took until about halfway through the series that I realized, wait, she's not lashing out as much as she did in the first, like, few episodes. She's starting to lash out a little bit less and less throughout the series. And that, I think, is actually kind of interesting to see.
But what makes me super frustrated is you can see that she is capable of not lashing out because her crush, Kinemura, she never lashes out at him, like, ever. She never hits him and anything. Like, she always just gets super flustered and stuff. And even with her best friend, Minori, the same thing, you know?
Yeah.
But then with Ryugi, she's super reactive. And there are numerous times throughout the series where she kicks or punches him. And that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it shows she is capable of not hitting.
she really cares about those two.
Well, and it takes her a while to realize that she leaned on Ryugi heavily, right? It
It
took
took
all
her
the
a
way to the
long
Christmas
time.
event. Honestly, there's a lot of things with Taiga that are very well shown. I wish they had done that with Ryugi a little bit more. Because Ryugi's only qualities that really are delved into is supposedly he has a scary look, but it's only talked about once or twice or really portrayed once or twice in the story. And he has a cleaning thing and a nurturing personality. That's it. They don't really dive into it too much, and at the end they attempt to, and it's kind of poorly portrayed in my opinion.
Yeah, and he cooks and he sews.
Like, they portray him as the perfect house husband, but not much else.
Yeah.
Which frustrates me because it portrays him as a boring character. Like, we don't really get a lot of, like, what he's into, except I noticed in the first episode, obviously he likes music. He was listening to music while he was doing his homework, and then he wanted to put on a music concert for the girl he liked. But then it's never touched on again.
No.
Yeah.
Heck, I think Minori, his original crush, had more sustenance to her. And she was a side character.
Do you want to know something? That's the other character I really like. I really like Minori and I really like Taiga because the author bothered to go into their story.
Yeah, because I love Minori's quirky personality. She's great in that sense. I love her energy. But then, like, then they dive into that, you know, she plays softball and she designs cell phones. like for fun, as like as a little side job. She has multiple jobs.
Very hardworking, very upbeat. I loved her at first, but after that Christmas, I like they were giving her more than just the uppity girl, but I didn't like what they gave her.
Yeah, again, that was frustrating. Like, I felt like she had more of a character than Ryugi did, and he's the male lead. It's like, I would have liked to know more of what he was into, you know? Because as a boring character, it kind of makes you wonder, like, why do these girls like him? Like, what is about him that draws them? Because even Taiga didn't have a lot of that either. Because, like, the most I kind of noticed was, like, that she enjoyed scary things, you know, like when she shared that with Minori, because she loves horror stuff.
Yeah.
And then that she also reads quite a few magazines, I noticed, throughout the story. But, like, it's not really touched on. It's like, come on, like, we want to know, like, what are their hobbies? I want to know what their hobbies are.
What do they like to do? You know, I will say this. There's a lot of space between Toradora and Horimiya. Horimiya, I felt like, went into it too much. And this show, I felt like, doesn't dive into it enough.
Only with Hori, though, because, again, my gripe with Miyamura. Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, these are people. These are high schoolers living their life, and they're supposed to be enjoying things. But it actually cracks me up because during the whole career planning, they're like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, you know what? I don't know what you're supposed to be doing either. But it speaks leaps and bounds that Ryuji's like, I don't know what I want to do. I want to work. Like, okay, is all you do clean and work? So it makes it difficult for me to feel much of a connection towards Ryugi. And I guess maybe that's why.
That's why you're not as fond of him, because he doesn't have much of a character to connect to.
But also, like, it sounds bad. I hate abuse. I'm just going to flat out say that. I hate it too. I don't think abuse is fine.
No.
But it doesn't really irk me as much when Taiga smacks him over the head, because that's the most reaction we will get out of him is when he retaliates and yells back at her. Or is like, hey, what the hell was that for? That is the most we get out of him.
As a side comment for the career, and I can see the thing where they are a broke family. They are struggling. It doesn't talk about it much, but it does mention or shows that they are a poor family, and he's having to logically continuing to college financially is going to be extremely difficult. And even if they did pick up more school or more jobs, it's still like, it's expensive. So how can he focus just on school when they can barely afford?
And I do think, again, like, he really wants to help his mom. Because, I mean, they'd have that fight later on in the series. And he's just like, I want to work. Like, I want to help contribute to our family. Because she's exhausting herself.
And she gets sick. And he tries and makes a comment of, I should have been working as well. And she's like, shuts him down immediately. Like, no, focus on school. Go to school, focus, and don't work.
Okay, but isn't it kind of cute that Taiga is like, yeah, I'll cover, you know?
Yes.
So here's the thing. Taiga has a lot of gray. I feel like she's a very morally gray character because she retaliates and she's a little bitch, but she has a lot of moments where she genuinely tries to do her best. In the fact that, you know what? Isn't it? It's not Inko. That's the bird. What the fuck is her mom? The mom's name?
Yusuko?
Yusuko
I mean, I know Taiga calls her Yu-chan.
Yeah, Yu-chan. We'll call her Yu-chan. You know, she notices that Yu-chan is not feeling good. It is on the floor, and she's panicking and calling Ryugi immediately. And I think the bad thing is I can kind of see some, like, benefit of Taiga and Ryugi being together. I can see why they would work as a couple, even if I'm not a huge fan of them as a couple, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Man, I can see what you're saying, but I feel like they should find someone else that's better suited for them, and they just keep that sibling relationship.
I agree. I totally agree. But I think that their dynamics together as a duo work really well for both of them.
When they actually work.
Yeah, it helps bring out a better in both of them and helps them work through some of the things that they need to work through. And honestly, they're high schoolers to and through. They're children. They're still trying to mature and everything. So for me, I'm very conflicted with this couple. I don't know whether I like them or if I hate them because it's so conflicting for me.
Along with he has daddy issues. Man, he never known his father. And so when he sees Taiga having a chance to see or have another chance with her father, not knowing their past, he pushes her to keep trying with it. And so she listens and tries with her father, and she still knows what to expect, but it still hurts her because she listened to him and is like, I'll give this a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows how much it means to him. Just the idea of having a father figure, how much that means to him.
Yeah.
But when it turns down, or how things turns out, of course, he's kicking himself in the ass and trying to figure out how to make it up to her, how to fix it. Like, in that sense, she saw how much it meant to him and worked, but ended up getting herself hurt in the meantime.
I mean, Minarine, during this whole time, too, was on team Taiga no talking to dad, right? And that caused a lot of conflict between Minarine and Ryugi, which I thought was a very interesting dynamic because up until this point, there was very little conflict between Minarine and Ryugi.
And of course, Minarine, she doesn't explain or actually talk it out. She just yells and runs off.
Yep.
She doesn't talk, which really frustrates me. It's like, okay, what's going on? Obviously, there's some sort of history or some going on.
And nobody's telling
but
him.
Nobody's explaining anything. So it's like...
But you realize that's a reoccurring thing throughout the whole story, that Taiga does not communicate with Ryugi about things. And so he finds out in these shocking ways of people approaching and suddenly yelling. And he's like, what's going on? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't understand what went down. And that's frustrating too, because it's it keeps him out of the loop, and then it causes conflicts with people around him because he doesn't understand.
It's just not Taiga who's keeping him out of the loop. It's everyone's keeping him out of the loop.
Let's be frank, 100% honest, there is no communication between any of the characters in this show.
No.
I very rarely... The fact that Minarine is not straight with Ryugi and uses analogies to try to explain her thought process and everything, honestly, I thought it was a very unique way, but it got very fucking old by the end of it. Because if you have to use analogies and stuff to come up with a way of explaining how you feel or, answer somebody's question,
he asked her straight up, and she kept, oh, look at this distraction, using other references. And then when he's using, okay, I'll play along in your reference, and tells her straight up within her reference that he loves her, she ignores it and keeps oh, now there's UFOs. And what are you doing? He's trying to work with what you're saying, and you're just not even working with him, not talking to him properly. You're acting like you couldn't care less whether he was talking to you or not, the way you're talking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we also have to remember what, at the end of the series shows that she was purposely doing because of her best friend this whole time. Even though she knew what he was saying, she was purposely diverting the conversation because she thought what she did about Taiga and Ryuji's relationship. Because she didn't realize that Taiga was actually in love with Kinemura, Yeah. Which is interesting because they're best friends. You would think somehow this could have been communicated.
I know her more than anyone else. doesn't even know who her real crush is.
Yeah, no, like I said, communication is shit for everyone. But yes, I can understand why Taiga not communicating with Ryugi is very frustrating, because we watched the show knowing that these two were supposed to be a thing. So we're going to hyperfixate on the fact that Taiga is not telling Ryugi where she disappears off to, other than a letter she leaves on the fucking table. You know, and it's honestly one of those where that's it's so immature. These two, it irks me.
It's wild, but what frustrates me about Taiga too is with like Kitamura when she confesses to him, you know, I mean, she does it pretty clearly from what I understood. And of course, Kitamura is like, huh? Oh, we'll be good friends. I'm like, it's like, so you can communicate.
Well,
she tries to, but he just blows her off.
Yeah, so I think along those lines, the reason she doesn't communicate, obviously, is because people blew her off. But again, no good role models. Her dad communicated via email, not even sending the email to her, by the way, I'm pretty sure.
No,
he sent it to Ryugi to be like, hey, tell Taiga I'm not going to be able to make it to your culture festival. So I think this episode needs to turn into how your parents raise you will impact the relationships you have in the future. I think that's the kind of episode we need to have. Because honestly, I think they could have probably worked things out better if they had been raised better.
But at least Yuchan did a better job in the sense where she tried her best to be a super mom, as she called it, you know? Like, she kept Ryugi and did her best with him and has been working really hard, and then takes a second job later in the series to try to save money so Ryugi can go to college. And she tries to tell him, don't work, I will handle it. And so at least in that sense, she was better in trying to support her son.
Oh, yeah. And I'm definitely not 100% like Yuchan is terrible as a mom. There are some things that I definitely am like, what the fuck? The mom should not be doing this. But a lot of it was, I think, trauma from the fact that she got pregnant. And as she's dealing with those pregnant hormones, the guy who, you know, got her pregnant suddenly is like, oh, okay, bye. I found this new chick. Like, that's traumatizing.
And then everyone around you telling you to get rid of your baby.
Yeah. And she was probably kind of reverted back to a younger version of herself for most of that time. Because at the very end, she did attempt to act more like a mother figure in a sense. But there for a while, she was acting like, she was kind of acting like Taiga in the way that she was a little kid. You know, being like, Ryugi, I am so tired, I want food. And, you know, kind of whining a lot like a kid, kind of acting like a kid, probably because of trauma.
Probably. And then, you know, Taiga also leeching onto that with Ryugi. That, you know, she then shows up to be fed by him. And then he goes over apparently to her apartment quite frequently enough to clean it. And then she just makes herself at home at his place.
Yeah.
Like, suddenly Ryugi has 2 kids.
And the thing is, I think Ryugi likes it.
I do think he likes being needed.
Yeah.
He's definitely that
nurturing type.
Yes.
I can see that too, because especially after Taiga gets rejected by Kitamura after that little confession, and he goes down to her and she's like, I'm gonna go home, like, and everything, like she's gonna run away. Tells her that dragons can stand at the side of tigers, that they've been equal since, you know, ancient times, and so he'll be there for her and everything. Again, I think it's that caring nature. Like, first it was his mom, and now he has found someone else who needs care. And so, yeah, he essentially takes her under his dragon wing, you know, like, I will be there for you. And then, you know, then she kicks him and tells him to know his place.
And tells him, you're a dog, you're not a dragon, bitch.
So here is something I have thought of, and I don't know if this is how the author wanted it to be portrayed, or if it is more of a, yeah, you're just a dog. But I almost wonder if at first she called him a dog to kind of try to separate herself from him in a way. Because I think she has attachment issues.
Oh,
100%.
Oh, yeah. Does.
This guy is just here to help me. He's not anything else. I don't need to worry about him. I don't need to spend my energy and stuff caring about him, because all he's doing is just helping me get closer to Kitamura.
Some people see those who of servants are dogs. So she's doing that term not because she truly thinks he's a dog. It's just a general term that people would see, oh, if you're working, you're serving or doing this, you're a dog.
Plus, I've mentioned this once, but I'm going to mention it again. I'm pretty sure that she does it to get a rise out of Ryugi.
And that.
Because Ryugi, again, is very mellow. He's very, I would say, polite for the most part. You know, he's not lashing out like Taiga is. He's not yelling at people. He's not trying to pick fights like Ami is. He's very, you know, calm and mellow, except for when somebody irks him, and then he lashes out. So I could also see it as a way of her kind of getting a rise out of Ryugi, and that's why she calls him a dog. Do I like it? No.
Sees it as a game and fun.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, what do cats do? They play with their prey.
Yeah. They play with their prey. They tease.
So very true.
And that's, I feel like, exactly what Taiga is supposed to be doing in this.
And like cats like to knock things off counters, she likes to knock him down.
She looks so clumsy, like a cat that doesn't know that they have a tail and knocks something over all the time.
Or when she knows her paws and claws are sharp, and she uses it on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you also think about the times, like, he also reacts pretty loudly when, you know, she smacks him. Especially in those beginning episodes where he's like, you know, starry-eyed gazing at Minori, you know, like, oh, she's playing softball. And she, like, goes after him like, those are some perverted eyes. And, like, stabs them or, like, hurls ice cream at his eyes and, like, smacks him and he has to run away. I'm like, well, that's another way to get a rise out of him is go after him. Yeah. So he has to defend himself. And he's yelling at her to knock it off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now, for the festival...
What about the festival do we want to talk about?
Well, first the wrestling show and then the pageant. Like, he's there trying to support her, but because of his other type of support of you should get along with your father and try and build that relationship, she doesn't notice or show much that she cares much because she's too distracted.
I don't necessarily blame her for that, though.
No.
And we could talk about, like, when she spilled the juice box in her locker, and rather than herself cleaning up, she goes into the classroom to get Ryugi and points it out to him and then leaves him to fix it.
And he's like, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
I don't remember that, but that sounds like Taiga.
But it's just like, really? Like, you can clean it up yourself? Like, why did he suddenly become your babysitter? Like,
yeah.
Why is he taking care of you to this level?
It's basically that older brother, younger sister dynamic.
Oh, but then there's a swimming pool.
So
he fixes up, so she has the pads, but while in the water,
she loses one.
And she's so freaking out about that he's like, okay, well, you leave me no choice. But he could have given it to her so she could fix it. But they're underwater. Time is running. Everyone's concerned and starting to go over. So not much time. And he slips it in. Like, I was like, what?
Yeah, no, if I were Taiga, he would have gotten a nice gnarly kick in the nards is what would have happened.
Honestly, at that point, just let him drag you out of the water, grab that cup, drag you out of the water. You can hunch in a way so people don't see your boobs. And put on a towel or take care of it when you're away, not have him do it because...
It's like, why didn't you sew the pads into the swimsuit?
Yeah, that too. Oh my gosh.
But the fact that she was just like freaking out to that extent about it, to the point that he's like, fine, I'll take care of it. It's like, yeah, that's definitely the big brother stepping in to handle the situation because the little sister is embarrassed.
Yeah.
That she has a flat chest.
The after effect, she definitely showed the embarrassment. The after effect, he was not nearly as embarrassed as he should have been.
Yeah, no, he just saw it as, oh yeah, I just helped her out.
Yeah, that was... The first time I saw that episode, I was like, I am getting so much secondhand embarrassment from this. Holy shit. Like,
Ugh, so bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm going to be frank, guys. I've mentioned everything that I've wanted to say about this couple. Honestly, it's very repetitive. It's a slice of life. There's a lot of things that are repetitive in their behaviors and the way that they act towards each other. I honestly can't think of a single moment that I really care to mention.
I mean, it is true because, like, then you think about like their numerous attempts throughout the show, you know, to make efforts with their crushes, but then obviously it's foiled by something else. Like when, you know, Taiga tries to give Kitamura cookies and then trips on the stairs and falls back and Ryuji has to catch her and then the cookies go flying out the window.
Or they try to scare
Minori.
Minori so that they could get her and him closer. And then Minori and Kitamura ended up doing that to those two.
Which was really kind of freaking funny. You know?
Oh, it was great. I had almost forgotten about it until I was like, oh, wait a minute. I know it's coming up now.
Especially since they were up all night. Like, I couldn't get a wink of sleep. Like, like, what do we do if we're the ones being scared? How are we supposed to scare Minori into Ryuji's arms for comfort? Like,
yep.
Oh, I think where you really see the difference with Taiga is during when Christmas comes and she's like making it very blunt and obvious that she's being good. But ever since that, she calms down a lot by that point.
I think it's after, you know, that point that she starts really showing some signs of being a little bit less violent. It's only a little bit at first, but it's enough of a difference, I think. And it also doesn't become a, like, I'm actually going to hurt you. It becomes more playful in her bashing, at least towards Ryuji for the most part.
Yeah, it still doesn't really excuse it for me.
No,
because I do feel like also she does get less violent after she fights the student council president.
Yeah.
That was something.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Well, when her star broke, there was no violent reaction. I mean, it didn't really show her. It was more on Ryuji and Minori.
I think it was because it was Minori who accidentally broke it.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna
obviously
say.
she wasn't going to lash out at her best friend. Especially since said best friend was hunched over trying to glue it back together and pretty much falling apart.
And that's another thing. I know we're mostly talking about Ryuji and Taiga, but I do want to mention a fact because this is a love triangle, right? This is two different love triangles. There's Taiga with Ryuji and Kitamura, and then technically it's a four-way like triangle situation because technically Ami's there too, but we knew Ami didn't have any chance.
It's just like
Ami's there because we needed a sexy female character to, of course, fawn over the main.
bitchy female sexy character.
But, you know, the love triangle with Ryuji and either Taiga or Minori is oh so frustrating because both of them have their good and bad. And honestly, I don't like either of them for Ryuji, personally.
No.
Because for me, Minori, there's something that irks me about her. And the fact that she wants to take everything upon herself in a way, but also, like, has too much of a stake in other people. You know, her actions obviously will determine Taiga's future and Taiga's happiness when it doesn't.
It kind of does, though, when you think about it, like if she had, you know, confessed to Ryuji. And then obviously Ryuji liked her too. So then that, of course, would have defined the relationship more. So obviously that would affect Taiga because she was caught there too.
Yeah,
Well,
and that aspect, yes, it would affect Taiga's happiness. But she acts this way for more than just that, I think.
Well, Minori I'm guessing at that point she liked him too, and he liked her when they were on the beach. Taiga hadn't figured out her feelings for Ryugi yet. So it's been like, that would have been a perfect, if they were going to go together, that would have been perfect. But she had to do all these analogies and kept avoiding the question and kept avoiding him and just made a mess of things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously it was because Taiga started spending so much time with Ryuji, because suddenly they're attached to the hip, like when they weren't before, like they hadn't ever been seen together like to that extent. But then suddenly at school, Ryuji and Taiga are always seen together. So obviously Minori's gonna think something's going on, because even after Taiga does tell them they're not dating, Minori still thinks, there's something going on because they still hang around each other. And then she also knows that Taiga goes to his house every day. And he brings her meals and he takes care of things for her at school, like sewing her clothes, cleaning her locker from her juice box and all this stuff. So, of course, when they're like that close, you're gonna assume they're in a bigger relationship than just friendship. So I can see her, pulling away that quick, because obviously it's like that friendship thing. Like, you don't go after your friends, significant others. You don't do that.
Yeah, no.
But then it created this problem where Ryuji sees this and is like, okay, we need to stop spending time together. We're going to separate. And now, no, Taiga sees this and does that. Ryuji is now the one suffering because they're both ignoring him, trying to give him space for their friend.
Mm-hmm.
So the only one who's really suffering, all three are now suffering because of their stupid
lack of communication.
Yes. Like, if the two girls were really friends, they would have talked about it, or at least tried to talk to each other, but they never talked.
It took Ami basically bullying Minori into mentioning even a tiny bit.
And then, of course, Minori shuts it down as soon as she can.
Yeah.
But that just makes Ami more frustrated, and so they kept fighting.
Yeah.
To me, this is typical teenager behavior, because obviously, when you have a crush, it's very flustering. You don't want them to know, because what if they reject you and all this kind of stuff. So, this is very typical Minorin to, be like, no, I will not say. Especially since, Taiga was still figuring out her feelings. But it's like, when you really think about it, if Minorin and Taiga had just talked about this kind of stuff in the earlier episodes, like, she would have known that Taiga was going after Kitamura, Ryuji's best friend, and he was just there to help her get close to him because he was close to Kitamura and knew his friends. So then it's like, Minorin would have had a green flag to go for Ryuji.
And Minori would have actually tried to help her friend get with Kitamura.
But then as you also think about, this is a lot of interference from friends about your crushes. Like, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. What? Let me give you some advice. Like, yo!
But the classmates end up seeing these type things and doing that anyways.
Yeah.
The classmates, too, even like them gossiping, even in the background is enough, to influence the direction these relationships go.
But Minori, when she's free, they're having that girl talk in the room. Yeah, she's upset, but like, I feel like she goes over the top on her freak out about trying to deny or what she's trying to say. That was a huge freak out from you.
Yeah.
One last thing. There's spur of the moment. Let's run away and get married.
No, boy, yeah, that was...
I literally turned off Crunchyroll, walked upstairs, and ranted to my mom about how fucking dumb this anime was.
Oh my god.
At that moment. Because I was so ticked. Because the sad thing is, I know high schoolers that would have done something like that.
Kids are stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It's a straight up fact. Teenagers are stupid and do dumb shit.
Yep. Did not make me like Ryuji anymore.
But they did that after they were talking about, oh, if I was never born. And then
I think she smacked him.
She smacked him or pushed him and he fell off the bridge. And then she jumps off the bridge. And then they propose to each other. Like, let's run away. Be the stupid. Continue being stupid.
Yeah.
especially when you think about like them coming to terms like how they feel about each other. Like Christmas, you know, Ryuji shows up in that teddy bear outfit pretending to be Santa, and you know, and she's all happy, and then she pushes him out,
Mm-hmm.
and then she cries because then she realizes that she has feelings for Ryuji. For me, it's like I didn't really see how Ryuji kind of figured it out because, you know, then he finds out when, you know, he saves her at during the ski trip when, you know, she's unconscious and he's carrying her and she admits that she loves Ryuji. And then there's this awkward dynamic. And then he's trying to like figure out, how do I feel about her? You know?
Mhm.
Well, he was just rejected by his crush.
And then
finds out this other girl he's been spending and taking care of loves him.
And then suddenly it's like, let's get married. To me, that was just way too fast. Like, because, I mean, when you're rejected by your crush multiple times, and then you find out that the girl you've been helping try to get with her crush, your best friend, has feelings for you, and then he's, like, unsure, because even he tells Kinemura, like, can you pretend, you know, that you were the one who carried her out, you know? Like, don't tell her it was me. And then she and Minorin get in that fight, like, tell me what you want, you know? Like, tell me what you're thinking. I need to know the truth.
Yeah.
And then Ryuji's like, okay, I'm going to chase after her too, you know? And then he sees her next at the bakery. And then they're like, whoa, I have something to tell you. And it's like, that's way too fast. Because I think he would still be, you know, grieving his lost relationship potential with Minorin.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that long since he's been rejected, and he's handling that A, very well, or B, very, very poorly, because right when that option goes, he goes to plan B and tries to run away with her.
All because their parents and them had one argument with them. That's another thing that really ticks me off, is the fact that, oh, you know, suddenly, if this is the first real time they had a serious argument. And this is the first time we really see Taiga's mom.
Yeah, and then also, too, Ryuji also finding out before all this that Minorin had feelings for him, too. This whole time.
Yeah.
She shouts it as she's running through the hallways, and you can see there's a reaction from him. It's just like, this whole time. And then you also find out with Kinemura in like earlier episodes, he confessed to Taiga first. Just,
Here's my thought process for all of this. Because technically he got rejected by Minorin or Minori or however you say her name. I don't think we've decided how we say her
Minorin
name.
is the nickname that Taiga gave her.
Oh, okay. The thing is, she rejected him on Christmas, gave him the straight arm, as he mentioned. And I don't know if you guys have ever been rejected by someone, but as soon as they reject you, your love for them diminishes over time. At least it did for me. And, you know, by the time that he finds out that Taiga liked him, his love for Minorin probably went down exponentially.
Well, it's been about a month or a good couple weeks, because that's between Christmas and the winter trip, which is from what I can tell, it's the next year. It's in January that the winter trip is happening. So it's been a few weeks to a month.
But it's also hard because he also was going with the intention of hoping to learn how she felt. Like, he still was kind of trying to figure out how she truly felt. And obviously that did not go well. Like, he did not find out. And then he finds out Taiga's feelings. So, there'd be a lot of conflict there. And then him not being decisive up until the point that they chase after Taiga. It feels so, like, slap in the face. Like, suddenly, we're eloping. And then I'm going to tell you these things. And then when I can start confessing to you, you are going to push me off a bridge into freezing cold water.
Yeah.
And then, then they do run away, temporarily with the support of their friends who are kind of like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, by the way, why the fuck are the friends helping? I'm sorry, but if you had tried to run away with your boyfriend in high school, Zephra, I would have smacked you upside the head and went, what the fuck are you doing? I don't think I would stand there and be like, oh, well, let me give you my life savings. Let me give you, keys to my beach house. What the fuck,
Yeah,
guys?
if I tried that, you'd even try to call my parents on me.
Yeah, I would have.
And delay me so that I couldn't just run away on you.
Yeah, know. Like, what are they doing? They all are dumb. They are all dumb.
All the kids are like, okay, you do what you gotta do. You're an adult. It's like, what the fuck?
Because even though
They're going to get suspended. They're not going to finish high school. If they do this, they're not going to finish high school. They're just going to have one issue after another.
Well, and that's the only thing they mentioned. And like trying to convince them that they're not going to, they shouldn't do it, is, oh, you won't graduate high school.
Yes, it's a mess of a...
Well, and like they were so determined to run away together. And then as soon as Taiga comes back, she runs off to her mom and refuses to tell Ryugi anything except for via a letter she left on the table. And
the fact that Taiga and his mom did that.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, if I were Ryugi, I'd be like, you are not allowed to write any letters ever again, I swear to God.
Then the first time she tried to write a letter, she didn't even write anything in it and put it in the wrong bag.
Yeah. But at least let's talk about one more quick scene really quick about, like, you know, the kiss.
Good gosh, can we please not, though? Please. It is the most awkward fucking kiss, and I hated it. I actually stopped watching it. I low-key was like, okay, I'm done. The phone was discarded. I looked at my dog and went, this show is bullshit. I literally told him that.
Kiss, oh my gosh. No one, if you do that, please prove me wrong, because I would love to read that email. But honestly, no one does that. That's not how it goes. That's not how it works.
Especially like pretending to have wedding vows during that moment.
Man, pretending to have wedding vows or getting practice is one thing. Like, I can get that, wanting to practice. But like the way they... No.
The blanket veil.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that part was kind of funny. I thought it was funny for them to role play it. I thought it was cringy, but I thought it was funny as well. And then, yeah, the kiss and the fact that Taiga was like, again and again and again. I'm like, oh my God, please no.
At least that to me was kind of cute. At least because, I mean, I personally like kissing my partner when I have one. So I can see that, you know, wanting more kisses. That's just me, though. But at the same time, I thought it was a little weird, like when she was talking about before, they kiss, like, your lips are chapped, like it'll probably hurt a lot. And it's like, are you trying to tell him, like, don't kiss me because your lips are chapped? Or like, if they're dry?
Her foreplay is horrible and needs work.
So here's my thing. If we want to talk about kinks, I definitely think Ryugi has one of being hit. But anyway,
man, he tolerates it and doesn't do anything, and she constantly hits him.
Yeah, he doesn't retaliate, like, ever.
Yeah, no.
Maybe he has a sub kink.
Yeah, he probably does.
And then after he does kiss her for the first time, then she's like, it was dry and rough. And then asks for it again. I'm like, what?
I think she mentioned it because she was trying to hint at him, like, hey, I want to kiss you.
But then, like, making it, like, awkward, like your lips are chapped, like
how is
that a draw?
That is so Taiga. I don't know any other way of her telling him, hey, I want to kiss you, other than like, just kiss me already or something like that.
I would have expected that more, and for her to grab him, because that's what she's done through so much of the show. I would have expected that more to be the way she'd be like, kiss me.
Yeah. So cringiest kiss ever goes
cringy.
To Taiga.
I mean, I thought it was slightly cute, but yeah, mostly cringe.
Okay, Kaylee thinks it's cringe, and Kaylee
that's
doesn't like
Ace
it.
Thing.
I just don't like kissing, though, so that's me.
I think, yeah, her foreplay needs work. That could have been a really cute scene, but what the hell?
I think there's one last thing I'll mention, and that is the fact I just barely made this correlation. The first time they really had a conversation, other than when they ran into each other in the hall, was Taiga was freaking out and then she hid in the cabinet before rolling out. The very last scene where they saw each other, Taiga was hiding in a closet or a little cabinet.
I think she did that on purpose.
She
Exactly.
did. Especially, you know, sneaking into the school after, you know, attending a different school. And the fact that he just happens to see her lingering in the window and then races up there to see her. And then he just knows, like, you know, because he doesn't see her at first and just goes and opens the door, like, knowing what's going to be in the closet.
Yeah.
That I did find cute how they replayed that. But she says, I'm not going to return until I change. So, and from what I can tell, not much time has passed. So I don't think she waited until she changed.
No.
She
She still smacked him or headbutted him or whatever she did.
She still came back. She's like, I think she just got tired of quote unquote waiting until I changed. So she just went back.
Mm-hmm.
And then saying she wanted to
him.
surprise him. And then he tells her he has something to tell her. And then, of course, you know, he tells her he loves her because, you know, he didn't get to before. And then I thought it was cute at first, like how she got flustered. And I was like, please don't hit him. Like, don't. Like, let this be cute. And then she headbutts him.
Yeah.
Like, and then how could you say something so embarrassing in broad daylight? I'm like, Taiga! Like,
oh, like it's not as embarrassing being in falling into the river and progressing. It's pretty much saying you're in love by saying, hey, let's run away and get married in the dark. That's less embarrassing.
apparently you need to do it in the dark.
Daylight in an empty classroom.
Is she a vampire? I mean, they also had their first kisses in the dark.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, she tells him to turn the light off.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So
okay. We've talked a lot, and we've, I think, talked ourselves in circles. So let's go ahead and let's cover some tropes here.
Let's do it.
So who wants to go first?
I will happily take that. So I feel like this covers numerous characters in the show, but romantic wingman. A person who helps their friends out with their love lives.
That is like the whole plot of the story.
Exactly. It was multiple people in this show, so I was like, I need to use this one.
Yeah.
Because it's not just Taiga and Ryugi, you know, it's also like Ami's also in there. And even the two guy classmates who are the class clowns are, you know, they're wingmanning several other relationships too.
Yeah. Everyone's a wingman, and I think it was overused in this.
Definitely. That felt like there's way too much. With numerous people, like the main cast and numerous classmates.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go next. Accidental declaration of love. Obviously, Taiga's confession to Ryugi was on accident. She thought he was Kitamura. So sometimes it can be cute. But there's a completely different story when it's like, oh, I'm unconscious, and then the other refuses to acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of that one.
Okay. 10 minutes in the closet. Characters get locked in a closet together. Romance and makeout sessions ensue. So the romance did not really but this was more like 10 hours in a shed.
So there's a couple moments where there's the accidental like shoving in a space together. The first one I can think of, or the most prominent one, is when they're all shoved in that tiny closet on their class trip.
That too.
Oh my gosh.
And the fact Ryugi is like holding Taiga down with her mouth covered, and Taiga's like, what the fuck? And like flinging around.
I mean, when
It
you're
was kinda
dragged
funny.
into a closet with 4 guys that are apparently listening in, like, that's a little like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so it can be cute, but it also, I don't know. I didn't feel like it necessarily.
That wasn't the scene I was thinking of. It was, do you know what scene I was thinking of?
10 hours in a
You mean like when Minorin and
Yeah, it was with
Ryugi
mostly
were locked
Ryugi
in that?
and Minorin.
Yeah, Minorin or
And they
Minorin.
spent a long time, but then Taiga found them, and then all 3 of them were stuck in there until... It didn't say how long they were stuck in there, but...
It was a decent amount of time.
Yeah, they were pretty much stuck in there until the shop guy found them.
Goodness, I totally forgot about that scene.
But yeah, they were just working. Shop guy thought Taiga left the door open and locked those 2 in there.
Yeah.
So...
But Taiga was a little intense there, like, found you. And then, like, launches in at Ryugi. And then is standing on his face. It's like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And then my next trope was promoted to love interest. And a story where a character's platonic relationship turns into a romantic one.
Yep.
Very fast. After like how many episodes we're covering that they're going after their crushes, and then suddenly in like what, 3 episodes that suddenly they're going after each other. Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's needs to be more hints given and more progression towards that, because yeah, I agree. 3 episodes, it's too quick.
And then also like showing them moving on from their crushes after being rejected more. I mean, we saw more from Taiga, but I would have loved to see it more with Ryugi, you know, moving past those feelings before they decided, you know, that they have feelings for each other. That would have felt a lot more natural for me.
Yeah. Because those episodes were spent with him being like, I don't know what I want to do with my future. Had nothing to do with Taiga.
Yeah.
So, love martyr. This is the one I was holding off because it fits this couple to a T. Here's what it says. A person who willingly puts up with someone's abuse because they love them.
Oh,
yeah.
No!
I hate this so much because it's so toxic.
It really is. And it frustrates me throughout the whole story how abusive Taiga is toward Ryugi.
And I don't think any of us in here think that this trope is a good thing, nor do any of us really like it being portrayed in this show.
No, not at all. Like, I would have loved for it not to exist. I mean, I understand maybe yelling and stuff and like pointing like into each other's face or something, but that was too much, especially when Ryugi freaks out after she comes back.
Yeah.
Like after that time, and he's like, "Where were you?" He was all concerned about her. I mean, he shouldn't have grabbed her scarf and shook her like that. But then like she grabs him and then slaps him across the face like 15 times.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that isn't okay. That's not how you treat someone who obviously is showing concern for you.
Yeah, he'll yell, but he doesn't do anything more severe back. He doesn't cut her out because of her toxic behaviors, nothing.
Which is frustrating. Like, it's almost like she keeps getting rewarded too with getting food.
She is.
So it's like,
Not almost. She is getting rewarded for her bad behavior.
and it's so frustrating to see.
Ugh.
Okay, Uptown Girl, the rich girl who falls for the poor boy. And yeah, she's from a rich family and he's from a poor, struggling family. So
I think this also fits Ami a little bit too.
yeah.
Because Ami comes in, and I think at first she kind of gets, tries to flirt with Ryugi to get after Taiga. Honestly, I think that's what it starts out with. But then she starts, I'm pretty sure she has a thing for him in some aspect or another by the end of it.
She does.
Yeah, so.
But she doesn't admit it. She turns it into, oh, I'm doing it for Taiga. BS.
Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of cute when there's a rich member of the couple and then a poor one. And I prefer it, though, when it is the poor one kind of opens up the eyes of the rich one to the fact that, life is not great being poor necessarily.
I find it cute when the rich pretty much bestows or helps, gives a poor man more than what they have.
Mm-hmm.
But she never does that.
Yeah.
She never does that for him.
Yeah, although will say that there is one episode where they're leaving a store and she's talking about like helping Ryugi pay for the food that he's going to cook. So at least she contributes in at least that sense. But it is frustrating to see how often he cooks for her and she's just sitting at the table doing her thing. And the only time she steps up to offer to help is when Kitamura is over.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. That's, oh my gosh.
Alrighty. Now it's time for the big moment of truth, captains. Do we ship this or sink it?
I think we all can agree.
I sink it because I don't think Taiga is mature enough to be in a relationship. They both have a lot of growing up to do.
him in learning how to stand up for himself and know what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. And her, she just needs to mature a lot more.
I hate this couple for being a couple. I really would rather it be a brother and sister dynamic like we've mentioned so many times. So yeah, I sink this ship so fast.
Let the ghost of the brother and sister relationship sail on. But this ship, sink it down to the depths.
Yeah, sink it further down than the Titanic, bros.
Because, yeah, I do think Ryugi deserves better. Like, he does not deserve to have someone treat him that way after he has done such great kindness for her and treated so many people with kindness despite his big, scary appearance. And I feel like, yeah, he deserves someone who will treat him well and be thankful for what he does.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, thank you for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed listening to us talk about your favorite ships, leave us a review on whatever platform you listen to. You are also welcome to send any couple recommendations or questions for our Roll for Ships to our email, battleshipspod@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and we will see you guys next time. Next time, Captain's Final Report 1, episodes 1 through 10.